Okay, so let's start. Samach Hey Amud Aleph. Amalei Ravina Ravashi. Yeah, that's what we're supposed to learn today.
Oh yeah,
it's 7 lines from the top. Okay, so Amalei Ravina Ravashi. Ravina says to Ravashi, this is the end of the Talmudic period. Ravina and Ravashi are the final sages. He says like this: Leima Azdu L'Tamaya. Let us say that Rabbi Akiva and the Rabbanan that argue about meicher, buying yafa meicher. If someone sells something, does he sell generously or does he sell stingy? It means if he sells his field and he retains the pit in the field, does he sell so much of the field that he locked himself out, that he doesn't even have the rights to get in? It means he sold generously. Or did he sell stingy? Does he sell he retains the walking path to get to his thing? That's a machlekes Rabbi Akiva and the Chacham. Now Rav and Shmuel argue who we pass like. Rav said we pass like the Chachamim, that says that someone that sells, he doesn't sell everything. He retains for himself whatever he needs. That's meicher bayin ra meicher. He sells with a stingy eye. And Shmuel said meicher bayin yafa meicher, that he sells with a generous eye. He sells so much that he locks himself out. So there's machlekes Rav and Shmuel who to paskin like. Well, interesting, because we're saying, let us say that Rav and Shmuel that argue about meicher bayin yafa meicher bayin ra, how does he sell, generously or stingy? That follows another machlekes that there is between Rav and Shmuel. It goes like this: Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Shmuel. Rav Nachman says the name of Shmuel. So Shmuel was probably the main teacher of Rav Nachman. If brothers divided up an inheritance, now when they divide the inheritance, let's say there was a house with 2 rooms, an inner room and an outer room. One of them says, I'll take the inner room. One says, I'll take the outer room. So which means that they originally, before they divided the estate, they were both partners in both rooms. And then partners in both rooms doesn't help anyone. So they split it up, which means that the one in the inside sold his part of the outside to the guy that's going to take the outside. How did he sell it? Because the guy paid for it by him giving him his part of the inside. And the guy on the outside sold his part of the inside to the guy that's in the inside, right? He gave him this part on the inside, and how did he pay? How did the guy on the inside pay for that? By giving him his part of the outside. So they each sold their portion of the other property, and they each have now. Basically, that's a sale. So if it's a sale, so what happens if there's 2 brothers, and one ends up with the inner room and the other one's in the outer room? Can the person in the inner room walk through the outer room to get to his property? Or can the guy in the outer room say, look, this is the deal. You gave me this. You want to get through, you have to knock on the door. You have to ask permission. If I want, I'll let you through. If not, I won't. Or you can buy your rights. I don't mind. I'll sell you the rights. So the Rav Nachman says, name of Shmuel, Achim Shechalku, when brothers divide, they don't have, it's a double negative, but in Hebrew, double negatives are perfectly fine. In English, they're also fine, by the way. Teachers just like to tell you not to do that, but it's actually fine. Right? In English? Anything in English, it's really fine. It's just mishagas. They don't have not paths for each other. Not ladders. That means like also a way to get through. That means that they don't have the rights to claim that I have a window here. How are you allowed to build? They can't stop a person from building because he has a window that's right there. You can't build in front of me. You can't say that. Each one has his full rights. Samayim says that they also can't claim that they own the Amasamayim. Now I don't remember.
Just to run the irrigation channel through the portion of each other.
Yeah, he doesn't have the right to do that, to run the irrigation channel through the other person's property. So you see what happens with the opinion of Rav Nachman in the name of Shmuel. Vizaru behem shalachas klus, and be careful with these because this is a established halacha. Basically, when someone sells according to Shmuel, he's selling it so well, so much that he locks himself out. That's what we're seeing. Well, that's exactly Shmuel's opinion. Shmuel Pascha's like Rabbi Akiva. When you sell something, you can actually lock yourself out. That's how you're going to get in. Take a helicopter. Rav Amar.
Is he saying you're supposed to sell that
No,
way?
it's a good point. Really, what he means to say is that the nature. Right now, he's claiming that I didn't sell. I want to get in, but we're telling him that no. When someone sells what you had intention when you originally sold it, when you originally divided it, all of this, that was your intention. Now you're coming and you're changing your mind. That's what we're saying. We're saying that's our assumed understanding of what the human nature is. That's machlekes Rabbi Akiva and Chachamim, what the human nature is. So what happens now is Rav Amar Yeshlam. Rav says no. Rav says that when a person sells, he doesn't sell so generously. He doesn't lock himself out. So it comes out that the machlekes Rav and Shmuel that we have about Meicher Bayin Yef and Meicher not is actually fits with another machlekes that they have. They're following their own reasoning. Where says tzricha. However, it's necessary to say both of these things, both of these statements of Rav and Shmuel, because if I would have only had one, I wouldn't have necessarily had the other one. What are the two statements? One is when someone sells. The other one is when brothers divide. Okay. Turns out it's the same thing, but it's still, if I would have said one, I wouldn't have known the other one. And the explanation for that is like this. Yashmin and Bahi, if it would have only told me about the brothers that are dividing Bahi Kama Rav, that's where Rav says that the person has the path to get into his inner room. I want to live here the way my father lived here. We're not changing everything. Right? I know we divided it up, but my father got in and I'm taking that. I want to live here the way my father did. So I would say that that's, in that case, Rav says that a person doesn't sell it so generously because he wants to behave in it the way his father would behave in that property. Teda, prove it to you. In place of the fathers will be the sons. So he wants to live there. So that's why Rav would have that opinion there. When it came to a regular sale, someone's just selling a property. Maybe Rav would agree to Shmuel that a person would actually lock himself out by selling everything. Be it marbaha, and if we would say only by when a person sells, so we would say bahach kamar Shmuel. That's where Shmuel says that a person would lock himself out. Aval baha, but in the case of the brothers that are dividing, we would say that he would agree to Rav because he wants to live in it the way that his father lived in it. And he won't lock himself out. So he won't sell so generously. Shmuel usually maybe would say in that case he would be Maida. So it comes along this second machlekes to tell us that no, they don't agree to each other in any of these cases, but in both cases there's a machlekes. So tzricha. Amar le Rav Nachman le Rav Huna. Rav Nachman says to Rav Huna. Rav Nachman was a major talmid of Shmuel, and Rav Huna was a major talmid of Rav. Probably the biggest talmid of Rav. So took over the yeshiva after that. He says, Hilchasa kavasina, Hilchasa kavasaichu. Is the halacha like you, or is the halacha like us? Kavasin like us, or kavasaichu are like you? So Amarle, Rav Huna responds, you got to see this. Hilchasa kavasaichu, the halacha is like you, even though he doesn't hold like that. He says the halacha, what's really the way that it has to be, people have to behave is like you. The mekarvisu lebaba deresh kalusa d'shchichi dayanim, because you're close to the exilarch. That's the Babylonian governor, Jewish governor. That over there they have all the judges, the Reish Kalusa. You're close to the Reish Kalusa, that's where all the judges are. And therefore, you know what the way of psak.
He was son-in-law.
Right, he was a son-in-law. Yeah. How does Rashbam say this? Rav Nachman Chasana de Ben Siyava. He was a son-in-law. Write that on top of this Gemara. Chasana de Ben Siyava. Okay.
So it seems that he's saying that he has an opinion, but it's in a more minority opinion. And the
Yeah.
majority opinion is the halakha, and you know
Yeah.
the halakha. But he
Yeah.
still has his minority opinion, still a valid opinion.
It's interesting that he still has that opinion.
Oh, that's
Sounds
okay.
like he's saying that what I'm saying is logical, but what you're
Right.
saying is the way that we behave.
Well, isn't that the case with minority opinions in the Gemara?
I guess so. Yeah. Okay. Itmar. It was stated by Amiroim. When this happens, it's usually a machlekes. Over here, it doesn't seem like that, but actually, there's a machlekes in everything. So, Itmar. Statement of Amiroim. Shnei batin selef nemizeh. You have two houses. It's really two rooms. One is inside the next one, which means that in order to get into the inner one, you have to walk through the outer one. Shneim b'mecher. If the original owner sold it to two new people, sold both of them, sold one to one and sold one to the other, that's how you make more money. Split up the house and sell it to different people. So, or shneim b'matana, or maybe he gave it both as gifts to two different people. Ein lem derech zeh. Since he sold it equally to each one, so no one can say that no, he sold it to you 100%. He sold it to me 100%, but he sold it to you 99% because he still wants me to be able to walk in. No one can say that. Therefore, the one in the inner room doesn't have any access to his room unless he's going to pay the person the rights to walk through.
There was a guy, he was Basra Daf. He owned the property, sold a nursing home. I happened to visit that nursing home years later. It was going. And I said, wasn't this person? He said, oh yeah, he sold us the nursing home. He's shrewd. You know what he did? After we bought the nursing home, we didn't buy the parking lot. He leased it to us. In other words, they thought.
Unbelievable.
But
Did you hear? Mr. Hellinger here is telling us that there was a guy that sold the nursing home, but he didn't sell the parking lot. He only sold the nursing home. So they didn't realize that he was only selling nursing home. They thought he was selling the whole thing. So what he did was he leased to them the parking lot. So he was still making money off it.
That was pretty stingy.
Smart man.
Smart man. Okay. Okay. Let's listen to this. What's the Aleph? Let's say the inner one, he sold it to him. The outer one, he gave it as a gift. When you give a gift, you're much more generous than when you're selling. When you're selling, there's a machlekes. How generous you are when you're selling. Are you selling everything or are you retaining some for yourself? When you're giving a gift, you're mamish giving everything. So if that's the case, the outer one for sure has everything. Okay, that's like a kal v'chomer. What about chitzen b'mecher pnimim matana? Let's say the outer one was sold, but the inner one was a gift. Here, it would seem that he's probably giving to the inner one access. But the Gemara doesn't say that. It says, they thought that just like we're passing like Rabbi Akiva, that when someone sells, he sells generously. So too, over here, even though the other one is a gift, the inner one is the gift, and the outer one is the sale. But the fact is, when you sell generously. So he sold it 100%. So he locks the inner guy out. So it says Valahi, but it's not so. Me like Tanan, didn't we say, because over here, one of them was a gift and one of them was a sale. So even according to the opinion that says that a sale is done generously, he would sell everything, but not comparable to the gift. The gift is going to be more generous than the sale, and so therefore he's going to make sure that the inner person has access to be able to get to his property. Okay. Someone sells a house. Machar Sadelis comes along with the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to say this.
Really?
You can show up at a house and you don't have. What happened to? Remember that joke with the This lady, she gets in this. She gets into her car. The cassette player was gone. She calls the police. They stole my the stereo system and the thing. And says, "Oh my gosh, they even took the steering wheel. I don't even see the gas pedal." The police says, "Lady, I think you're in the back seat."
That's good.
Okay, so I think that was from Arnold Fine or something like that.
Sounds like.
So you sell the door. I think mafteach means the lock. Mafteach means a key, but the key would mean the key that's in the lock.
Remember one time I was taking Rabbi Maul's father.
How do they say it over there?
It's the door, but not the key.
Not the key. We're gonna learn the Gemara that the key is actually always in the lock. It's the inside key that.
One time I was taking Rabbi Maul's father. Just take one whenever so we go to the car and I'm trying to turn the thing. And I'm like, really? And he looks up like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
That was a break-in and enter.
That's happened to me with black trucks. I go up and I try to go in and I realize, wait, this is not my black truck. It's somebody else.
Okay. Someone sells a machteshes kavua. He sells a mill that's attached to the ground. He sold the house. He sold also the mill. But not the mill that's not attached to the ground, because that could be moved and it's not really part. That's probably how it works. Why is it that when you buy a house, you end up with the refrigerator and the washing machine and that? Because that's not movable. It's not. It's stationary. Those things that are stationary don't come. If there were fans and things that are movable, those don't come with the house. Anything that's movable doesn't come with the house. Macher is it's cherubal. This is a base for the millstone. Is that what it says over there? The base for the millstone. Avalayas akelis, but not a net that catches what is that? It catches the stuff that goes down into the press. I think. A hopper? Okay.
called the mill ring, but not.
What is it called? The what?
So mill ring?
What's a mill ring?
He sold the mill ring,
But not the hopper. You don't know what a mill ring is? You don't know what a hopper is? But you sell one, but not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Leia Satanar, Leia Sikiram, you didn't sell the ovens. The ovens apparently are movable as well. Two types of ovens, a big oven and a small oven, which is like the stove top. But if he sells the house as is, it and everything that's in it, everything is sold. Yeah. What about a safe? Does it come with a safe? If the safe is attached to the ground, it probably comes with it. No? The guy is not supposed to take it out when he leaves.
Everything is negotiable. Usually the stuff.
But if you don't say anything,
The buyer could give an issue. It was screwed on. It's part of the house.
interesting.
Sometimes people get sensitive about the chandeliers. They have had the chandelier, but I'm not including it. And then the buyer is like, oh, I love this chandelier. And then sometimes
Yeah,
have disagreements over.
we did that. We sold the house. My parents sold the house. And they had a brass chandelier, beautiful chandelier. They said that we were taking it with, took it with, but we never did anything like it. We just sat in our storage.
I still have the Rebbe's chandelier.
Oh yeah, from his house or?
From upstairs.
From upstairs. Sure.
I bought them a really nice one.
If anyone wants to buy the Rebbe's chandelier, we have someone over here that has it.
Is it for sale?
Still in a crazy Eddie bag.
They must have done some construction at one point. Let us say our mission is not like Reb Meir. If it would be Reb Meir, Reb Meir holds that if you sell a vineyard, you sell with it the equipment that's used for the vineyard. Now we were saying over here that if someone sells a house, he doesn't sell the key, right? The key's not sold with it. But apparently, according to Reb Meir, anything that's there goes along with it. It's the regular equipment that's there for the house is sold together, should be sold together. Reb Meir says you sell a vineyard, you sell the equipment for the vineyard. It says Reb Meir. You could say that that really our mission is Reb Meir. Some kviya like kviya. You see, there's two types of things that are permanent. One is that it's attached. Another one is that it's always there, even though it's not attached. So the vessels of the vineyard are not used anywhere else. You never take them out of the vineyard. They're not attached to the ground, but you don't take them out. So when Reb Meir says that you sell the utensils of the vineyard, because they're always in the vineyard. It's like the hose in the garden or something. It's always there. You never bring it in anywhere else. So you always just leave it there. So everything that's meant for the vineyard is always there, and it's sold together with the vineyard. Maybe there's like a tractor or something. But the key, maybe we're thinking, is even though it's a utensil of the house, we think that, but you take it out. You take it. It's not always in the house. Maybe you take it out. The Gemara says, but no. The Gemara asks on this. But when it's a key that you didn't sell the key, it's similar to the door. We think that the door is attached. You never move the door to anywhere else. So to the key is always in the door. It's not always in the door, but it's always, maybe it means it always is in the door. Yeah, it's always in the door.
So it must mean that lock that, like you say, you turn on the inside and you lock it.
Yeah, and the reason why the Gemara is saying this is because if we could have differentiated between a key that's always in the door and a key that's not in the door, then we could have just said, that's the machar samaftech that's in the door, but samaftech that's not in the door. Gemara could have divided up just like that, and it would have told us the halacha more clearly. Rather, we're just talking about one type of key that's even in the door. So it must be the fact that you don't sell the utensils. Must be that we're not going like Reb Meir. It must be. It's more clear. Chivar means white. It's more clear to say that the Mishnah is not like Reb Meir.
Oh, this is interesting. In the commentary, it says, talking about the key that's like a door. This was a special type of wooden key used in rural areas that was always left in the lock.
Yeah,
so
he was always left in the lock.
I've never heard of wooden key.
I'm not sure about that. He's a student of Rabbi Akiva, but whenever the Gemara says that, let's say the Mishnah is not like Reb Meir, it does it like with apprehensively, because it wants the Mishnah to be like Rabbi Akiva because it's a Stam Mishnah. Be like Reb Meir. It's a Stam Mishnah is Reb Meir. Rebbe took the from Reb Meir's notebooks to make the anonymous Mishnayos. So we would like it if it turns out it's not that. Okay. If someone sells a house, he sells also the door. He also sells the nagar. Nagar is a beam that's used to lock a door. You know, they would have like a little hook that goes there. On a double door, it's easy to do this, or maybe on even if it's not a double door, you just can't open or something like that. But he didn't sell that key. A millstone that's attached to the wall. That's but not one that's this types of mills. One is that it was attached to the wall originally, and then you carved that out to be like a millstone. You carved out the shape of the wall to be used as a mill. But on the other hand, what is it?
I want to know what a millstone is.
Millstone is something that you're gonna grind something against it. So what happens is to grind grain. So what you would do is you would put the grain inside, Usually a millstone would have a hole in the center, so the flour should fall through. But you put the grain on top, and you just turn the stone on top of it, and it just crushes it, and it turns it, and then it slips through. So, yeah, but a coffee grinder is just a sharp blade that goes very fast. This is like mamish flour. A flour mill is just to really press it.
Like mortar and pestle.
Yeah, like a mortar and pestle.
Don't
Yeah.
use the term millstone by Briss or something at another place. Something.
Uh-huh.
I'm
not sure.
That word for.
Rechaim?
Yeah,
It's like a
rechaim.
womb. It's a rechem, it's a womb. Anyway, if it was part of the wall and then you just carved it out to be function as a millstone, then that is sold. But if it was a millstone beforehand and you just screwed it onto the wall, so then that's not sold. Macher says strubel. You sold the base of the mill of Valeas Akelis, but not that net. Valeas Atana, Valeas Akrayim, not the Tana and Krayim, Valeas Rechaim, and not a mill, which probably means the mill that's movable. Rabbi Eliezer says, anything that's attached is considered like the ground, and it's sold. If the person said that he's selling it and everything that's in it, like as is, then everything is sold. But either way, he's not going to sell the pit or the cistern or a yitzia, which that was a storage. Not a storage. It was another extension room that was there.
Excuse me, didn't we have before the case where he sells the fields, but he's not selling the trees there?
Yeah.
Right, so, but here he says everything that's attached to the ground.
Yeah, that would be Rabbi Eliezer's opinion.
Oh, so it's the other opinion.
Okay, let's leave it over here. We're good.
Is man Shamalom?
No, Taner Rabbanan, Sina. There's a major sugya, very popular sugya about Mayim Shuvim in a mikveh. Come here.